cloud. So it's May 10th. We're wrapping up the year here. I kind of expect that this is going to be the last lab meeting. You're probably headed out of town, right? And Shashank graduated. Congratulations, Shashank. Addison as well.
Congrats.
They had their thesis defenses on Wednesday. Those went really well, well attended, well presented. Everything went really smoothly. So, yeah, I don't have anything new to report. Research wise, I traveled down to Virginia Tech, I guess late Monday night, and I got there in the wee hours of the morning and stayed Tuesday and Wednesday and then headed back. So mostly it's been kind of that. I'm in the process of setting up, tilt the TV over here. Aaron Potter is gonna stop by a little later this morning. I'm in the process of setting up the maps for the blind project. So this is, Shashank's seen these, but this is a 3D printed map that I made off of a drone scan of Northern Illinois University when I was there. I've made a couple of these for Virginia Tech, although none quite as nice as that because I could never fly big swaths of Virginia Tech with a drone. But the rules here are a little bit more permissive. So I'm hoping to do a big flight here at Binghamton to generate one of those for Binghamton. Or if there is data that I can use to generate it, great. I don't fly if I don't have to, but I think probably with the L2 LiDAR, should be able to get a pretty awesome model with that. Shashank, I think you've seen this before, but neither of you two have. This is an extension. This is kind of building on a project that I started many years ago with an undergrad, actually. And we were working on these tactile maps for people with visual impairment. So the idea was so 3D printed maps have been around, not 3D printed, but tactile maps have been around for a long time. And the idea is there's kind of like a symbology, and you can make these like raised profiles. They used to do them with like vacuum printing and all kinds of stuff back in the day. But with LiDAR, there's kind of a neat opportunity and 3D printing, a neat opportunity to sort of just like manufacture these. And instead of making them symbolic, right, where you're sort of abstracting away whatever it is that you're looking at, you can kind of get a chance to show the real environments. The idea is, I'll bring this up to the screen so you can see it. So this is a 3D printed map of this is Virginia Tech, created with a drone, so nice and raised and easy to work with. So the idea is, you can kind of feel it and get a sense of what's here and kind of follow paths. These are some other examples of that. So this is like a version of that, but like highly symbolized, right? So sidewalks are shown as these like raised things, and then the buildings, but only just like the first floor, so you get the building footprint. So I can compare these to like satellite photos versus, this is like the equivalent of a satellite photo, and that's kind of the equivalent of like a map, right? Like a base map. It's true. The idea is that I've got a real sense. Tilt the TV a little bit more so you guys can see this. This is a real sense camera. It's sort of like a Kinect, if you've seen those around. It senses the 3D positions of things. It's got a camera on it. This whole thing was kind of camera based back in the day, and I'm kind of adapting it for touch now. But the idea then is that you can kind of like touch these things. So if you want to know more about this thing, then you can touch it and it'll contact OpenStreetMap and it will provide information about it. So there's no like separate database. It all uses publicly available data. But it actually worked really well when I put it away. I'm sort of retuning it. One of the downsides of Python is that Python packages get updated. So like even, something that was running 2 years ago tried to be careful about putting the environment in, but apparently not careful enough. Some of those versions have changed where some of the syntax has changed, so it didn't quite work out of the box. I got it started last night. Anyway, long story short, I'm hoping to adapt this to terrain maps. So like a big geological terrain map of like the United States, like the big 3D printed one of the states, and talk to Erin about whether she's got any interest in the geoscience ed kinds of things, like teaching people about geology via these things, using a touch interface to sort of like query things. So setting up a demo for that, that's my big job for the day. And then switching gears and probably starting to work pretty heavily on the methods paper for the build project so that we can get all the papers out ASAP. My plan is to get all of those papers out for July 1st. The NSF's report is due on July 1st. So if we can get all the papers out, that'll be, I mean, it's not required, it doesn't make any difference for the funding or whatever, but it would be nice to get those things out so that that can go on the report. A bit of bad news, I got word on Wednesday morning that the big space LiDAR project that I was working on was not funded. So that was kind of a drag. It was like a $350 million project. We were very much hoping it was going to go. It wasn't at the $350 million stage. It was sort of like the $1 million stage of like, let's do a feasibility test to make sure that everything is going to work before we actually commit to doing the thing. But that was kind of, I've still kind of got to catch up on that thread. But basically it seems to me from what I've read is that the group that's behind JEDI and ICESat-2, the two existing space laser programs, they beat us out. So that's not too surprising. I'm sure that they were the top seed anyway, having already done two of these. And then the other three were sort of related to like monitoring of like atmospheric gases. So probably not even LiDAR based systems anyway. So anyway, kind of a bummer, but that's all right. That'll free me up for other things, and I'm sure that they'll make another try at it. Yeah, there's almost always money to launch a satellite somewhere. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, what's new with you, Peter?
Well, I have the hike scheduled with Illinois mapping on the 16th. So
Going back to that then, or
no, I'm staying till the 20th.
or staying till the 20th? Okay, cool.
And I guess it's just kind of funny with like the NASA developing. They want me to do a Myers-Briggs test for like personality,
All right.
and then an about me presentation.
Have you done one of those before?
Mhm.
Myers-Briggs?
Yeah.
What do you rate?
When I like earlier when I used to do it, I would get INFJ a lot, but now I've been getting like ENFJ.
Okay. I'm a INTJ. How about you guys? You done a Myers-Briggs test before? You know what that is?
Yeah.
It's like a personality test. It kind of divides you up into these 16.
Yeah.
Each letter is sort of a binary, like I versus E is introvert, extrovert, T versus F is thinking versus feeling,
Something like that.
I don't know. And then each of the letters has a meaning, so yeah, it's kind of fun. And they'll usually have like, characters from your favorite TV show or Marvel superheroes that match the different profiles. Good times. This is sort of a weird request to probably just like for icebreaker stuff, I imagine, sort of like a
Yeah, they said to like gauge like what is it? Like gauge compatibility with teammates.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Excited? Well, I'm glad you're around. Maybe there's still a few more things we can do before you're we're Shashank, let's throw it to you. Tell us a little bit about how your day went on Wednesday.
The day went like really well than I expected. The defense went really well. I had expected fewer people to be there. It was a like last day of the semester kind of a thing on a 9 a.m. and like a lot of people showed up. The presentation I had like fun with it. So that was really nice. And then I wrapped up in 30 minutes. I had a lot of questions. So I think people were like engaged in like what we were talking about. And then even after that, I had like questions regarding like what are the possibilities of these, and like a lot of conversations were like started on that day. And I think the closed session was really nice. I really enjoyed the discussions, and I was like pretty intimidated at first, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then and the day like after that, I attended Addison's defense, and that was pretty nice. I think like attending both like was very nice for like people who were just introduced to the project.
Yeah, I think that did work out because they could see a little bit of it and then they didn't have to wait a day. I think we would have lost more people. Like
Yeah.
Oliver and Craig and a number of other
Yeah.
people attended both. So
And I think they like kind of understood the applications of what I was doing, and one of the applications was shown in Addison's,
yeah.
and I think I was like a good preface to what Addison was doing too. So I think that worked out really, really well. Uh,
And I think, you know, like I could totally see Bob saying like to Addison, like, well, you tested it with this software, but it's a black box. How do you know it's doing it? But
Yeah.
like all of that foundation was there. Like he seemed really pleased with how it all
yeah. Yeah, I even met everyone yesterday in the there was a grad celebration for geography yesterday, and
Yeah.
like everybody was like, you guys did a good job of like organizing it really well, and that was pretty nice. Like on the same day, like apart by a few hours. I think that idea worked much better than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after going outside from like Addison's defense, I almost got hit by a car. So we were making jokes about like attended the collision defense and almost got into a collision. The car was at like on the Wallace Street with like 35 miles per hour. Like I don't know how, but yeah, survived that. And my favorite soccer team won after that. So that day went really, really well.
It's
It
a good
was
day.
like, yep.
What's your favorite soccer team?
Real Madrid. I've
Okay.
been supporting them for like 15 years or more. And then that wrapped up the day yesterday. I saw everybody, and like most of those were like people who attended the defense. So I got like more conversations with that. And I think today morning I got comments from Dr. Tim. I like look for what I need to do. So I'll probably work on next week on the revisions and try to submit my ETD.
I had an idea on the way home. Let me run it past you. So one of the things, you know, that you know, we still have to figure out how to like detect pause really well, right? Like the deep learning, as far as I'm concerned, like that tracks people just fine. But I have an idea for people sitting in chairs. What if so we ran deep learning on different layers, right? A combination of the DSM and intensity. But what if the layers were previous frames or aggregates of previous frames? So like as an example, what if the first layer is intensity, but the second layer is the mode density over, you know, the whole day, right? So that you could start to like isolate the difference between things, right? So now there's a second layer that sort of adds context. And that could be, you know, you can have as many bands as you want, but you could have like the mode or the median pixel for like the previous minute, the previous hour, previous day. Provide the context for like, okay, what is going on here?
I think that would be like that's something I thought about, like using multiple seconds for like different bands. I think that would work. I think that would like people moving would be seen as a signature in like those 3 layers. That's probably worth a try.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, we could try a number of different things. You know, it doesn't have to be for this manuscript. I think this manuscript goes out the way it goes. Like that's a good chunk. But if we want to try it out, yeah, you've got all the training data already set up.
Yeah.
So even the training data for like people sitting on furniture and all of that stuff, like
Yeah.
we should be able to use that stuff that you've developed and not have to do much extra work. So
Yeah.
I don't know, just a random idea I had while driving.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. It's like when we were talking about it in the discussions, like we got like different ideas to like And I think we realized how like detecting people sitting is important to us as well. So yeah, that could be a worthwhile experiment.
Well, wonderful. Liam, tell us a little bit about how your trip to Iceland went.
The Iceland trip was really good. So the first couple days was more staff led, where they took us up to the glaciers and along the moraines and stuff, and gave us basic geography lessons about kind of the formations there. The highlight was definitely 2 days in the middle where we had independent research with our groups for a group project. So that was really cool, just being out in so the professors dropped us off in the vans at our field sites and then essentially just left us there for the day. So it was cool just being out there with all our instruments, like right in front of all the glaciers and stuff was really cool, and seeing all the tourist groups walk by. I did download some of the photogrammetry apps that you suggested. I ended up using the Scaniverse one the most. One of them didn't work because my phone does not have the LiDAR sensor, and the other one you had to pay subscription for, so I couldn't use any of those ones. So Scaniverse was really the only option. It worked pretty well. There was, I think, maybe it was just a time thing where I needed to take better pictures. And also one of the things I found surprising was how flat Iceland is. Especially with how like volcanoes and glaciers and stuff, you think it'd be really kind of mountainous and rugged, and it is to an extent. But outside, like the mountains and the volcano areas, like from the edge all the way to the coast, is essentially just a flat plain. So there weren't nearly as many interesting features to really scan. So when there was some and we had time, I tried to take some scans. So that worked pretty well. I haven't processed really any of the images yet, but I'm probably going to do that here soon. Yeah, we had great weather, which was not typical, I think, for that time of the year. They said it can really be hit or miss. So that was really fortunate for us. Yeah, it was just really cool to be up there.
Great. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Iceland is certainly on my bucket list to go visit.
Yeah, it was really cool, especially being out. We didn't really do any, I mean, we obviously didn't do any of the tourist destination stuff. So it was really just kind of the outdoors areas, which is really cool. And it's really not hard to navigate. And you get phone service like pretty much everywhere on Iceland because it's so flat and there's nothing really to block signals. So aside from like right up by the glaciers, when you have the moraines and stuff, you pretty much have signal everywhere, which is cool. Yeah.
I'm glad you got to go. You got doubled up on a study abroad, like a study abroad within a study abroad. Cool. Well, I wanted to thank everybody for a really nice semester and year. I think the lab meetings went really well. Liam, thanks for remoting in. I know you didn't have to, but it was nice to have you, and you were a great participant. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the fall. We'll be in touch a lot over the summer as you start to make plans to get here.
Yeah, I know I am definitely planning at least one trip up over the summer because I need to do housing and stuff, obviously, and also just to look around campus a bit. So I'll let you know when we're planning on thinking of doing that.
Sounds good. Yep, please do. I'll be making a short trip to back to Iowa for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary party late July. So just for about a week, I think. But otherwise I should be around all summer.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else? All right. Awesome. Well, we'll wrap things up again. Thanks for a wonderful year, Shashank. I guess this is probably your last official meeting, but I hope that you'll come back here and there. You're always welcome. You're going to be a grad student anyway, so Joe, even though you're somebody else's, and this is very sincere, actually. Maybe it doesn't have to be your last meeting. Johanna wasn't my student,
Yeah,
and lots of people aren't my student and they come to the lab. Yeah, Jen Chow wasn't my student and he came to the meetings all the time. So it doesn't have to be your last meeting. You should come back whenever you want.
yeah, and try to be here like as long as I can be here. Yeah.
Sounds great. All right. Well, take care, everybody. See ya.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great summer.
Yeah, you too.